Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today, I'm going to talk about the worst thing, the fatal flaw of Call of Duty World War II. The fatal flaw, the worst thing, the thing that I dislike the most about this game is the lack of footsteps. If you've played the beta, if you've looked at video of the beta, you know that this game is an SMG dominant game. These maps are close quarter maps. Close quarter combat is a vital part of this Call of Duty's success. If you don't get close quarter combat correct, you are going to get the game wrong. And footsteps is how you get close quarter combat correct. Footsteps are a rusher's best friend. Let me say this right out of the gate. Yes, you can still be successful. Yes, you can still have success in this game with your mini-map knowledge, with UAVs, with spawn knowledge, with all of that sort of good, typical Call of Duty stuff. Even if flanking sort of works here as well, you can still be successful there. However, the level of depth and the skill gap gets even more increased when we have good, decent, and balanced footsteps. I'm not saying that you can't rush without footsteps. I'm not saying that you're going to be not successful without footsteps. I'm saying you're going to be even more successful with footsteps. Footsteps add another dynamic. It adds another meta in rushing. It adds another tool in your arsenal into taking care of those close quarter combat situations. Why is this the fatal flaw though? Well, let's take a look at this. We just begun this second round of domination here on frickin' Gibraltar, and I am about one away from the beginning of my kill streaks. I start to go up the middle and I realize I don't necessarily want to do that, so I'm going to cut back around here. I'm going to turn around and look at that. This is the ultimate problem with no footsteps. I could not hear this guy at all. Go ahead, crank your headphones up because there are no footstep sounds being heard here.
Enemy controls Baker.
What would have happened if there were footsteps? Well, I would be running around. First of all, I have dead silence on, so I'm perfectly fine. I have no footstep sounds. I'm running around with an SMG, mind you. I'm running around with an SMG, and I turn this corner, and I would have been able to hear this guy. I should have been able to hear this guy. He's running the infantry class, so he doesn't have dead silence on, and he was sprinting at the time, so I should have been able to hear him coming, stop running, and prepare for a gunfight. Now, at that point, he may have still bayoneted me, he still may have panic knifed me, he may have even got a lucky hip fire on me, whatever. That's down to my gunfight skills there. But the problem is that at that point, it would not have been about the footsteps, it would have been about my own personal skill and his personal skill. But instead, we got into a random 50-50 gunfight where both of us were hip firing, he got a bayonet on me, and I died because of footsteps, or lack thereof. Now, what if there were footsteps in the game that were functioned properly and we both had dead silence on? Well, this exact same thing would have happened. However, I would have seen that he had the, mountain class on, and that would have been fine. He was running the counter, that's the balance. What if none of us were running the mountain division? What if both of us could hear each other's footsteps? There you go, that includes a very interesting dynamic. Now we both know where each other is coming from, and now we get to choose. How are we going to approach it? Are we going to crouch walk just to be hidden? Are we going to flank around? Are we going to move away? Are we going to slice the pie? That adds a whole new level of that gunfight, a whole new layer of depth to that engagement, more than just that random 50-50 gunfight. I see a lot of people complaining about the battle chatter, how they are flanking somebody and then their own avatar calls themselves out. Footsteps completely nullify this point. If we got rid of the callouts because they're stupid and they are inconsistent, and we put in footsteps, now we have a counterplay. Now we have dead silence. Now, if you are flanking and you don't have dead silence, you're punished. But now, if you are flanking and you do have dead silence, you are rewarded. Rather than relying on the randomness of your own character randomly calling themselves out, you have a structured, strategic game mechanic that players can utilize to their advantage. Even using the callouts to your advantage is completely inconsistent. There is no guarantee that an enemy is going to call themselves out when they are flanking around you. It is random, and it is a poor substitution for actual good audio footsteps. Footsteps add a layer of depth and a level of strategy in close quarter combat situations that is delightful and incredibly rewarding. Yes, you still have your minimap. Yes, you still have your action times. Yes, you still have your spawn knowledge, but there's an even greater skill gap. There's an even greater level of depth that we can achieve here in World War II. And a lot of people act like if they add in footsteps, everybody's going to be hearing everybody. Like, no, this is still a skill that you need to utilize. You don't just throw on a set of headphones and become this mystical, magical wizard that can hear everything. No, it takes patience. It takes skill. It takes an awareness that you need to listen for actively. It's a skill just like looking at your minimap. They don't need to be as loud as Call of Duty Ghosts or Modern Warfare 3 with sitrep. They just need to be actually usable. There are two main concerns that people have when it comes to footsteps. The first and main one is they only help campers. This is, I don't know where people come up with this stuff, but this makes zero logical sense at all. If we take a look at the beginning clip here, I would have won this gunfight if I were camping. If I just sat back in my own spawn, I aimed down sights with an assault rifle, and I camped, I would have won this gunfight. Campers do not camp in the enemy spawn. Campers camp in their own spawn on their own side. That means that when people say footsteps only help campers, that means that they are approaching campers without dead silence. And if you're pushing into the enemy spawn where the campers are, why are you pushing into the enemy spawn without dead silence? That's the counterplay. That's the balance that we need with footsteps. 99% of the time, footsteps are going to be used by rushers pushing close to the enemy spawn and listening to the enemies approaching the middle of the map. In fact, not having footsteps promotes camping. Because let me tell you what, without footsteps, I don't feel like taking the risk and going and pushing up into the enemy spawn. Without footsteps, I don't feel like running that 50-50 shot of maybe somebody's behind me, maybe not. Have you ever stopped to consider that maybe this beta feels so crazy, maybe the maps feel like they're so nonsensical, like you're being shot in the back so often solely for the fact because you can't hear the enemies coming up behind you? Maybe it's that decreased level of awareness that makes these maps feel chaotic and unpredictable. Footsteps do not promote camping. Footsteps promote rushing. Without footsteps, people are going to camp way more. I know for a fact that I will, because I do not feel like running the risk of being close to the enemies without an ability to hear them or be aware of them. The second problem people have with footsteps is that they claim it's not realistic, that you wouldn't be able to hear footsteps in the game or in a real war. So we're gonna open up this can of worms and this can of realism right here. Let's go back to this clip and look at it realistically. This is about like a 200-pound man holding a very heavy assault rifle, probably with a couple extra clips attached to him in his boots as he is sprinting down the stairs, and he is sprinting in his boots. I should be able to hear him, especially with all the ammo and the grenade on his person, and he's probably panting as well, making some noise. I should be able to hear him realistically. And let's not forget the fact that I am playing as an American, and if we take a close here, this guy is a brown Nazi. Screw your realism, game mechanics come first. You want to talk about realism? Why is it only 6v6? Why is it when we die we respawn? What's up with kill streaks? What's up with scavenger? What's up with sleight of hand? A perk that makes you reload fast? That doesn't make realism has no place in multiplayer. I would much rather have a good game than a historically accurate game. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the historical accuracy, and this is a different video for a different day, but I prefer a good game first. I'm here to play a good game. If I wanted to learn more about World War II, I would have paid more attention in high school. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for keeping an open mind, and let me know what you guys think about the audio design and the footsteps in the comment section below. Thank you guys once again for watching. Until the next absolutely beautiful Call of Duty morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. As always, stay beautiful.